Take us through the emotions of a night where you guys concede in the first minute, come back, go to extra time, go to penalties, and win in the way you all did.
Yeah. Obviously that's 2 games in a row now where we haven't started the game where we need to be. But I was extremely proud of the fight from the group. I was extremely proud of the mentality to be able to come back from that. An excellent set piece drawn up in execution from the guys that went exactly the way that we played it out. And then obviously to see the critical moments there in extra time from everybody. We talked this week about we were going to need everybody on the field, and I was really, really proud of the group.
Different sort of game. I think the XG for both teams really low. It seemed like nobody wanted to make that mistake, but at the same time, just really gritty, really physical. Did it feel different because it was a playoff game? Did you feel like that had a role in what they want to play with?
I think a couple of things played into it. Number one, obviously it being the playoffs. Number two, the size of the field and certain areas of the field. It wasn't pretty by any means, I think, from either team. But from a critical moment standpoint, we had the blocks that we needed to have. We had the saves that we needed to have. And I felt we could have been a little bit better in the final third for sure. But we talked all week with the group about set pieces being the difference and went through with them. Even when you look at last year, the games that we played in and how important that they are. And I was really, really happy with the execution. Like I said, the set piece, if you were to look at the sheet and look at the goal, identical and a really good finish from Cam and a good ball from Carlos.
The penalties sounded like from talking to Tosh that you picked the takers.
Yep.
In sort of the order that they're going to go in. Is that something you have drawn up ahead of time, or is that something you're looking at how the game went in that moment and how do you feel like it played out?
Yeah, not something we have drawn up ahead of time because our hope is that we're not going to penalties, obviously. But you look at who's on the field at that moment, and over the course of the last few years, you take you take the information in, you take who's on the field, and obviously try to put players in a position that they're comfortable with. I didn't ask any of the group. We told them who was going, and we felt good about the guys that were stepping up. We've seen them do it time and time again, and I'm really, really proud of them. Really proud of them.
And of course, you guys are down on the field. We're upstairs. I mean, what has been a really wild night in the league as far as results. 3 for 3 on upsets on the Eastern Conference side by seed. Puts you all at home next weekend. If you can speak first to the importance of that, and then second of just this idea that anything can happen in the playoffs, and it just seems like the margins are so fine.
Yeah, I would say, we were certainly gutted that we weren't able to give our fans a home game in this round. No question about it. We talked about it at the end of the game last week. At the same time, I couldn't be more excited to be able to come home for such an important game. The players are extremely excited, and the hope is that as we've had all season, we have an amazing crowd behind us, and hopefully to push us into the result that we all obviously want. With regard to the results in the league so far up to this point, I said on my broadcast call earlier, I felt that this was going to be one of the craziest playoffs from a seeding standpoint and who moves on that the league's probably seen in a long time, because that's how the league has been all season. And so, for us, the focus obviously now is on playing at home and making sure we're prepared for Detroit.
What was the thinking on the team sheet tonight in the lineup? Saw some differences with West at outside back. Obviously, Cam starts up top, and then you had both Tyler, Carlos in the midfield together. What was the hope, and then did it work out how you wanted? Is that something that you're going to use, you think, moving forward?
Yeah, so two things. On West at outside back, we wanted to go with a bigger lineup with regard to size, because, as I said, we felt that this game was going to be balls over the top, having to deal with that, and then about set pieces. And so, that was the reason for that decision. With regard to Tyler and Carlos in the middle of the field, again, we felt the beginning of this game was going to be tight. Certainly didn't play out that way 30 seconds into the game. But we felt that the first half was going to be really tight, a lot of long balls from both teams. And it played out that way. And we wanted a little bit more, I would say, bite and ability in the air to be able to cover ground as well. With Cam up top, he scores a goal last week, and we felt his training has been excellent. And it wasn't anything against Willie. Willie has handled it like a true pro, like he does every single time. And we felt Cam was due another goal, and plays out that way. We drew up the set piece for him for that reason. But again, it's a team effort. When you look at it, Willie came in, worked incredibly hard to make sure that nothing was given to the opponent. And obviously OJ comes in as well. You have two of those subs taking penalties, three with Dylan, and played a critical role in the result.
And just last one, a first minute goal 2 weeks in a row. They were obviously very different in the way that they were scored, but just you look at the time, and that's what they share in common. What can you as a coach do about that, or do you feel like that is not indicative of maybe what you guys have played this year?
Extremely frustrating the way we conceded the first goal. Because of how the first goal happened against Tampa Bay, we made a decision to draw up a play that put the ball into the corner. The execution wasn't there, and we mishit the very first ball, and that puts us in a bad spot. We don't defend the cross. But again, my hope is that the players take from this, whether we're up a goal, whether we're down a goal, we have an ability to stay in the game. And I can't speak highly enough of the group, the fight. There's been a lot of ups, there's been a lot of downs, but we are in it, and we are coming back home to host a playoff game in front of our amazing fans. And I cannot wait.